All right, today we're diving into a legal battle that completely shook up medical innovation here in Australia. It finally answered a question that had been hanging in the air for decades.
So what's the big deal? Well, it really boils down to this one massive question. Imagine you figure out a new way to use an existing drug to treat an illness. Can you actually patent that method? Can you own it? For the longest time, the answer was, let's just say it was a bit of a mess.
So, to really get why this was such a game changer, we have to rewind a bit and look at the legal fog that surrounded this whole issue for years and years.
You see, for decades, there was this old-school common law idea that treating a person, well, that's not a commercial product, right? It's a doctor's professional skill, like a craft. It's not some widget you can slap a patent on. And you can imagine this created a huge, murky gray area for all the researchers and drug companies who were pouring millions of dollars into finding new treatments.
And as it always does, this long-simmering doubt finally came to a boil. It was put to the test in a really high-stakes legal showdown, the case of Apotex versus Sanofi-Aventis.
Okay, so what was this all about? Well, Sanofi-Aventis had a patent, but get this, it wasn't for the drug itself. It was for a very specific method of using that drug to prevent psoriasis, a skin condition. Then along comes Apotex, another big pharma company, and they challenged that patent. They basically said, hey, you can't patent that, and dragged that whole historical debate right into the middle of a modern courtroom.
And this wasn't just some small dispute. It went all the way to the top, the High Court of Australia. You can bet the entire medical and IP law world was holding its breath. I mean, this was it. This decision was going to settle the debate for good.
And then, in 2013, the court handed down its verdict. A verdict that would finally cut through decades of uncertainty.
The ruling was crystal clear. No ambiguity. The High Court said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that methods of medical treatment, they are patent eligible in Australia. Just like that, the old legal doubt, poof, it was officially history.
So you might be wondering, how on earth did they get there? Well, it all came down to a key legal test with a pretty old-fashioned sounding name, the manner of manufacture.
Okay, let's break that down. Manner of manufacture is basically a legal hurdle. For something to be patentable, it has to clear this test. It has to be an invention. So think of it like this. You can't patent gravity, right? That's just a law of nature. But you absolutely can patent a clever machine that uses gravity in a new and useful way. That's the key. The invention has to be some kind of artificially created thing or process that has a real practical use. And here's the kicker. The High Court decided that a new method for using a drug to treat someone, well, that is an artificially created state of affairs. It's a process, it has a useful outcome, and it has economic value. So, boom, it passes the test. It is a manner of manufacture. Now, this ruling wasn't just a big deal for Australia. It actually carved out a really distinctive spot for the country on the world stage. Let's put this in perspective. While Australia swung the door wide open to patenting medical methods, a lot of other places, like in Europe, do the exact opposite. They explicitly ban it, a lot of the time on ethical grounds. So this decision really puts Australia in a specific camp, one that says, we're going to use our patent system to really push for and incentivize medical innovation.
So when you boil it all down, this one single case had a huge ripple effect. It got rid of all that old legal doubt, it officially stamped new treatment methods as real, patentable inventions, and it set Australian patent law on its own unique course, creating a whole new landscape for medical research and development. And that leaves us with a really big question to chew on, doesn't it? Is patenting treatments like this the best way to encourage life-saving innovation by rewarding the people who create them? Or does it open the door to monopolies that could put critical treatments out of reach for the very patients who need them the most? That's really the core tension that this whole landmark decision throws right into the spotlight.